right, Steve. So you've been in the grading room a while, and let's talk about the period between where you were before in your current role at PCGS.
Sure.
What were you doing? Part of the coin shop, which was great visiting you out there in Sacramento. How did you go from being a grader to actually going back to running a coin shop?
Yeah, so
owning your own coin shop.
Exactly. Owning a coin shop had always been a dream of mine.
Yeah.
It was one of those things. I thought that was kind of like the ultimate thing that you could do is own your own shop, own your own business, because I kind of missed the interaction with people. When you're grading, you're with the people that you're with, all day, every day, but you're not always talking because you need to be focused a little bit more on production. So there's conversations, but I missed people coming in and bringing collections and being able to price things out, going to shows and stuff like that. The action was kind of missing a little bit. And so I ended up leaving PCGS after around 3 years of grading, and opened up my coin shop with Glenn Holsenbeek, really good friend of mine, awesome man.
Great guy, old school,
absolutely, absolutely, and the right kind of old school.
Sure, yeah.
And so we opened up Americana Rare Coin, and I did that for 4 years, and had an absolute blast with it.
That was a beautiful coin shop.
Thank you.
I mean, obviously it still is, but when I would visit you there, man, it was dialed in. You spent a lot of time putting that place together.
Absolutely, yeah. It was a lot of fun. In fact, I don't even know if you know this. All of our coin cases and stuff like that. Did you know that those were built by me and my dad?
Really? That's pretty cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. Built. Really cool. We did all of the cutting out and everything in Utah. Drove it out to California, put it all together, varnished and everything.
I might need a couple new coin cases just so there
you go. It'll cost you.
Out, Wow. So you must have had a blast running the coin shop.
It was super fun. Yeah. Some of the coins that we got through, it's amazing. Some of the stuff that is still out there in the wild, you just have to know what you're looking for. You have to have an eye for it. And some of the biggest, scores, so to speak, were things that, a lot of people might pass by. I remember something that sticks out in my head was a collection of Jefferson nickels that we bought. It was just a Dansco album. Somebody had put it together. We purchased it, and going through it, there were some full step Jefferson nickels in there. A couple of days later when you start processing that I look at and I'm just like, that's tough in full steps, and holy crud, it's all there. And so, if you take the time to study, all of the grading, but also the suffixes, your full bands, your full bell lines, your full steps, your full heads, there are things hidden in plain sight. And that was something that I absolutely loved finding.
Right. That's
were those hidden gems.
Yeah, it's fun. Your work pays off.
It does.
Yeah, that's cool. And I think what a lot of people also perhaps don't understand is, granted it was a score, but for every Jefferson nickel that comes in a shop, you can't check it out.
You can't check every single one.
Yeah, so you have a nice collection of them, then you start looking, there's one there.
Yeah. No,
you probably had a lot go through that you took to the Coinstar machine.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You just randomly came across.
Well, I mean, it was one of those situations too where we had, the typical bowl set out. So, people could go and grab a standing Liberty quarter for however much we were charging, $4.75, $5.75, something like that. And occasionally somebody would find a variety. And I was one of those people, and I think it shocked a few folks, where I would tell them, when I could tell that they were trying to cherry pick me, I would say, listen, if you ever cherry pick me for a variety, show me. I'm not going to change the price. You're going to get it. I want to be excited with you.
Yeah. Oh, really? This is the one with the 3 arrows on it? Let's look at it.
Exactly.
And
I was stoked.
I hear you.
I was stoked when somebody would buy a $50 coin from me. They would show me the variety, and I'm just like, holy crap, that's worth like $250. Score. High five.
Steve, just so you know, I bought a coin from you for $500. It's now a $500,000 coin, just so you know.
I can't wait. I can't wait to get a new Benz on you.
Okay, so you had a good run with the coin shop.
Yep.
It was great seeing. Again, it gets back to my first conversation with you. God, I wish I would have came up there more.
I do too.
Yeah,
it was a fantastic time. Definitely a personal highlight.
Yeah, because we have a house in Placerville that's about a half hour past that shop. So, but I'm working at the shop. It was great to see you on Fridays and stuff.
Exactly.
So, okay. So now the second trip back to PCGS, what happened? They called you again?
Yeah. So one day I'm sitting, just at my desk.
Looking for full step.
Probably looking for full step.
Yeah,
I mean, why not,
yeah,
right? So I'm sitting at my desk and I look down and I'm getting a phone call from Brett Charvel, who had just recently been announced that he was going to be the new PCGS president. And he hadn't even stepped foot in the office. This would have been mid-December, probably like December 12th, 13th, somewhere right in there. And he was going to be instated president, I want to say January 3rd or something like that. And so he gave me a call, and at the time, while I was at Americana, I was still coming down to PCGS to do what they called contract grading. So basically, if the backlog ever got a little bit out of hand, there were a couple of individuals that they would call in, to kind of come in, help move through the backlog.
So always had like a toe still inside the door.
Exactly, absolutely. It's one of those things. I love PCGS. I've always loved PCGS. It's always felt right for me. Always had a lot of respect for the business, for the people, for the services that we provide. And so I would go down usually for a couple of weeks at a time. So it was kind of like 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off for a little period. But then the backlog started getting, a little bit more under control, and I hadn't been back for probably around a year. I think it was like 9 months to a year. And so Brett calls me up and he goes, "Hey, I just wanted to see how things are going." And so I was talking about the shop and everything, and he was like, "When was the last time that you went down to grade?" And I said, "Yeah, it's been, about a year or so." And he goes, "Yeah, from what I understand, the backlog is a little bit down. We don't have any positions for graders available right now, but in the off chance that you want to come back down to Southern California, if there was a position that we could kind of create together where there's a need, would you be interested in that?" And I was like, here's the thing. I learned from my dad early on, always listen to the conversation. Why not? Why
always
not
be open-minded, right?
Always be open-minded. I had no intention of leaving Americana. I had no intention of leaving Sacramento. But if there's an opportunity that presents itself, hear it out. Why not? And so he and I ended up meeting at the Fun Show, which was mid-January that year, I believe. And I was actually teaching a 2-day grading course for the ANA.
Oh, that's cool.
They have their traveling seminars and stuff like that. And so I'd been doing that for them a few times. And so he actually came in to the class and introduced himself as the new PCGS president, did a little Q&A, and we went down to the Bourse floor the next day and just started having a conversation. Where are some gaps that you've seen? What are some things that you think would help out, whether it's in the organizational process, if it's operational, where are some of the holes that could be plugged and stuff like that? And so I started jotting down notes, and a couple of months later, I sent him an email basically stating, here are the 7 things that I think I would bring to the table and why I feel they're important. And I put them in order of importance from what I'd seen, because, I'd been at PCGS for the better part of 7-8 years at that point. I'd seen quite a few things. And so he went through it and he goes, "I absolutely love this. This looks right." And so we started planning the process of having the job created and having me come down. And so we started talking again. It would have been mid-December, and my first day on the job was June 3rd.
Gotcha. Okay. Wow. Okay. That's
so
cool.
About a 6-month span.
So what's it like a day in the life? Because every time I know you handle a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like I call you, I text you, and you're probably the busiest guy in the coin business because you're handling things. You're handling things for people.
Yeah.
You know a lot of the clients at PCGS. They're very good personal friends.
Absolutely.
You have Director of Education does not summarize your job. You do so many different things. But what's a typical day like for you?
It's ever changing. Every single day is a completely different thing, and that's one of the things that I love. Is it's not repetitive. I handle large collections that come through. So if there's a really important pedigreed collection,
the top registry set,
top registry set, something like that comes through, you know, I like to give it a little bit of a white glove experience.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want to be able,
Concierge,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. I want to personally make sure, I mean, these are people's treasures.
Sure.
We absolutely have to take care of them. It's our responsibility, it's our duty to make sure that they are well preserved, well taken care of, and while they're in our possession, they're given the utmost respect. You know, this is somebody else's treasure.
They worked hard. It's a lot of money.
Absolutely.
They spent 25 years building it.
Yeah.
You know, at least you could do. Yeah.
And so I handle a lot of those types of things. I'm also the grading team leader. That's a new responsibility that's been added to it. And so basically handling a lot of the managerial tasks of the actual grading team, and making sure that everybody's happy and healthy.
Sure. Okay.
I also work with the PCGS guarantee. And so if there's ever a coin that somebody feels like, you know, you probably overgraded this a little bit, or there's a little bit of tooling that was missed, the coin's cleaned. Another thing that tends to happen pretty consistently is basically top level customer service requests. So we have a phenomenal customer service team. Our reps are top tier, but every once in a while there's a very numismatic question that's posed and they'll read it and it's just like, I don't know what to do with this. So they'll send that over to me. I'll type up a quick response, get it over to them, and then that gets back to the client.
Yeah. I feel like it's like you're a business person / numismatist, you know, not to be respectful of everyone that works at PCGS, but I feel that's rather unique, and you can handle a lot of different situations. But more importantly, you know, if a dealer or a collector is submitting something to you, you can explain it in the proper context.
Absolutely.
And I think that's important.
Yeah.
You know,
and I've seen it, I've done it, I've been there.
I'm always like, hey, Steve's on it, good, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like when we have you know, I don't want whatever it is, an issue, we want to submit a certain type of coin.
Sure.
You know, hey Steve, you know, how do I submit this valuable coin?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you just don't worry, Seth, I'll handle it. You know?
And I get excited because I get to geek out over it.
Yeah,
It gets to land on my desk, and I get to appreciate it right along with you.
Yeah.
All right, everyone, let's see some coins. Everyone wants to see coins. So here's the deal. So I asked Steve to bring out coins that meant something to you. They could have been coins that you've had since you were young or coins that you bought recently, with your coins out of your personal collection.
Sure.
And this is the great Steve Feltner. You're under a lot of pressure now because you have high expectations.
Hopefully I
for
have
what
some
you put
decent
aside.
coins to show.
Yeah, but I've not seen what's in the box, but I want to be very clear. Some of my most treasured coins that I have in my collection are, you know, I bought a 1943 steel cent in BU for $1.
Yep.
I still have it. It's my first coin I ever bought. So that's
awesome.
You know, people think that I have like an $1804 in the back. Or, no. Some of the most special coins are coins you've had for a long time.
Absolutely.
Or your grandparents gave them to you, or your first album. So let's see what's in the box.
It's actually funny because you mentioned that you don't know what's in here, and you don't. But one of them is absolutely one of my first coins.
Okay, yeah,
so
check it out.
that's awesome. So I started collecting obviously when I was 8, and I didn't really know much about grading services and stuff like that, and you know, until I'd been at summer seminar, talked to a couple of people, but that wasn't my foundation. I bought my first certified coin when I was 15 years old. I remember I was at a coin show in Salt Lake, and you know when you walk past somebody's case and you look at a coin and for some reason it just flashes back and it's like, oh my gosh, I've got to have that.
You can't walk away.
You can't walk away. And so this was my first certified coin, couldn't walk away from it. It's common. It's a 1929 S quarter in an old green PCGS holder, mint state 63.
Wow. Oh, wow. That is charming.
It really is.
Wow.
It has an awesome look.
It's a beautiful, like
Blast
really
white,
white, yeah.
great luster. Yeah.
Made in San Francisco, 1929, a great year. That's when things are thriving in this country. It's a special year. It's okay. Got it. Wow, that's really nice.
Yeah. So even though it's not a whole lot of value, that's one of those coins. Make me an offer, I'm not going to accept it.
Yeah.
You know, that's one of those. I will always keep that. I'll treasure it. That's a going to the grave with the coin.
And this is a good lesson. I mean, a lot of people think, you know, I've always said there's kind of two major ways to collect coins. You pick a series, you collect each state and mint mark, right? Yeah. And then you're either like a type coin collector, you know, you're assembling one of each and maybe you gravitate and build a set of you know, one of your type coins. But then there's that extra box. Yeah. Right? And this is like the extra box.
Yeah, it really is.
It doesn't kind of fit traditionally, but because it's like an old green older.
Yeah.
You know, it's a beautiful coin. You've had it for a long time. It goes in that special box.
Exactly.
Only special people get to see,
Yeah.
like the viewers. Okay. But yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
All right.
Next. So one of the things that I've always found kind of important is collecting something with history.
Yeah.
You know, something that tells a story.
Sure.
Because there's a lot of times, you know, and you'll know this with friends, family, whomever, you start talking about being a coin collector and they just think, oh, okay, you know, little discs of metal with a date and a mint mark stamped in it and, you know, whatever. It's not that exciting. But if you can connect it with history, if you can tell a story and then hand them the coin or the medal or the token or whatever it is, they light up. You know, it has that connection. You know, it makes it tangible, it makes it real. And this is one of those medals for me. So my collecting interest is all over the board. I've collected everything from ancient coins to I've tried to do typesets, I've done colonial, you know, dabbled in the world a little bit. I can't ever focus on one thing. If I was to try and do, you know, a set of Morgan dollars, I'd probably get 15 coins and then I'd give up because to me, I want to get, you know, a wide range of things. This is one of my favorite coins in my collection. This is a Washington funeral medal. Okay, so George Washington passed away in December of 1799, and obviously he was beloved. You know, he's founding father, first president, highly, highly respected man. And so literally the nation went into mourning. And this would have been struck in early 1800 by Jacob Perkins, who's also known for his work on the Massachusetts half cents and cents.
Oh, really?
And,
Okay, gotcha.
and a couple of other things. So he had these designed and struck. And if you notice, there's a hole at the very top.
Yeah.
Almost every single example was holed so that the mourners could wear it. Put a string around it, put it around their neck, tie it in.
He was loved.
He was loved. That man was absolutely loved and admired. Now, the cool thing with the Washington funeral medals, there's a couple of different types. They made some in gold, very, very few of those around. Not something I can
One
afford.
sold for like $1 gazillion.
Yeah, they're super expensive and absolutely awesome. I think I've seen 2 of them in hand.
Wow.
Yeah. And then they also have silvers, and then this one is a white metal, so probably like a mixture of tin, zinc. I'm not exactly sure.
Were they sold?
I don't know if they were sold or if they were,
or he just gave them
passed
out.
around.
Or he's like, hey, the gold one. I mean, maybe like that was Martha's
Yeah, you
version
might have
or
had-
something, or
yeah.
John Adams got one of the gold ones. You know, you would think.
Yeah.
Huh.
It would be really cool to know the history of, you know, how it was passed along. That's something I'll have to research.
Yeah, that is cool.
And then there's also a couple of different reverse types. This is the more common one, known as the funeral urn. And so if you look at the back, it has the urn there with GW inscribed in the middle. There's one that is far more scarce and one that I would love to own one day. I'll have to pick up a cool example one time. With a skull and crossbones. I don't know if that was, you know, viewed as maybe disrespectful or something like that, you know, having a skull and crossbones with George Washington on the other side, you know, little too soon.
Yeah, it's interesting. Wow,
Yeah,
that's a
but
cool
this
point.
is-
This is like the DNA of America all over.
Exactly.
You know, this is really
and that's
cool.
one of those coins, medals, where if I'm showing a family member a portion of my collection, you know, telling them about George Washington a little bit. They know the stories, they know the history. And so when you say somebody wore this right after George Washington passed away, as memoriam, as respect for him, you know, the eyes light up and it becomes tangible. It becomes real.
That's cool. Yeah, congratulations. That's a nice
Thank
coin.
you.
Wow, that's awesome. Great story.
All right, so I don't know if the viewers noticed, I like elephants a little bit.
Yeah,
and so
yeah, okay.
I actually collect coins, medals, paper money, stuff like that with elephants on them. So a few years back, a good friend of mine purchased a coin out of auction, handed it to me and said, Steve, you have to own this coin. And I said, okay, you know, and so we worked out a deal and ended up purchasing it. But he knew that this needed to come to me. This is an elephant token. These were made in the 1690s in England, you know. Probably didn't have a whole lot to do with the early United States. However, there is a reverse type that talks about the Carolinas. I believe it's God preserve the Carolinas and its proprietors. Much rarer reverse type. This is the more common one. They made these on a thick planchet and also some on a thin planchet. This is one of the finest known thick planchet elephant tokens.
Would you look at that? That is insane. Oh my God, it's like a high relief. That
Yeah,
thing.
it
Wow.
really is. It's really an awesome
You know,
coin.
I like the PCGS holders, the newer versions versus like years ago. How you're it's just constant improvement. You can see all the rim and things like that.
Yeah, being able to see the edge is really important.
This is so
And
cool.
also it helps, the light filter in a little bit. You don't have the dead zones.
So this was struck in the 1690s, huh?
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let me like match it up. Yeah, it's pretty accurate. Yeah,
It's a pachyderm.
Wow, this is really cool. It's beautiful.
Thank
It's got
you.
a little mint red kind of hidden.
Yeah.
How does a coin? It's just shocking. You know, this is why coins are so valuable.
Yeah.
You have a copper coin. Copper, super reactionary metal. It corrodes.
Of
It gets
course.
crusty. And this was struck in the 1690s. Somebody cared for this for all over 300 years.
Exactly. You get somebody to sneeze on
Yeah.
that in 1720 and
It's
you're
done.
done. The
Yeah.
coin's absolutely done for.
Wow.
And so the fact that it's in this state of preservation for that many years
Makes
is
it really desirable.
it's really cool. Yeah,
That's
it-
awesome. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that one.
You're welcome.
That's cool.
All right, I'll share two more.
And you never really have a favorite, right? They're like kids or something, or if you have 5 dogs, you like them all.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
And my favorites change all the time.
Yeah.
There's something that I'll pull out and
Yeah.
go, oh my God, I forgot how
Right.
much I love this coin.
Right.
And it becomes the new favorite of the day.
Yeah.
And it's one of those situations too. Lots of times I'll keep one of my personal coins on my desk.
Right.
Just so that I can look at it and appreciate it. I don't want them tucked away, never to be seen
Yeah.
and enjoyed. And if I ever get a free moment, which doesn't happen all too often,
Yeah.
I love to take out 1 or 2 coins, get out my loop, and just study it again.
Right.
Like it's kind of building that back up.
Sure, yeah.
And you see things in a different light,
Right.
depending on how much time has passed. You see things differently based upon what's happened in that interim from the last time you looked at
Got
it.
it. Wow.
So, having been in California for a little while, I decided I should probably have a piece of Pioneer Gold.
Yes.
And so this is a really cool coin.
Can you explain what Pioneer Gold is to people?
Yeah,
A lot
so
of it's,
Pioneer Gold is really interesting. And basically, when people were over here, we had the gold rush in California.
Sure, yeah.
Pioneer Gold started in the Carolinas and Georgia in the beginning in the 1830s with the Becklers and a couple of other folks. But in California, we had this major gold rush that happened. Obviously, the panners, miners, whomever that were coming over, the traders, they didn't carry a ton of coins with them, from the Philadelphia Mint, New Orleans Mint, whatever was set up when they moved out to the West Coast. And so one of the problems that they were running into is you have all of this gold dust, you have the nuggets, you have the things that are being mined, and there's no real way to trade it, perfectly, and that's why, the term a pinch, get you out of a pinch and stuff like that.
That's right.
It was a pinch of gold.
Okay, I'm gonna buy like dinner tonight. Oh, it's a pinch of gold. or 2
Exactly.
pinch.
And,
It was
bartenders-
really the Wild West.
Yeah,
back then,
it
wasn't
really was. And
Yeah.
one of the things too, bartenders and stuff like that, or bar owners, they like their tenders to have fat hands.
Yeah.
It's a little bit bigger pinch. Or, wet your hand a little bit
Sure.
before you take the
Right.
pinch. That way some sticks to the back of it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so, people were being taken advantage of a little bit. So there were several enterprising individuals who basically went, okay, we don't have a mint out here.
Sure.
We're trying to get one, but we have the ability to refine the gold, assay the gold, and strike coins using United States standards.
Sure.
Okay, and so this is one of those people. This was created by Moffat. It's a $5 gold piece. And you'll notice it looks very similar to a 5-lib. And so it says 1850. It has Moffat in place of Liberty on the top of the head. And then it says SMV California Gold $5.
Right.
So really awesome piece in a old Radler holder.
So the Radler holder that was made from like 86 to like 88, 89?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
cool.
correct.
Oh my God, would you look at this coin? Wow.
Yeah, this is a phenomenal
Little
example.
dirt and
I love how
dirt.
original it is.
Yeah.
There's a light cleaning if you get it in the right light, but
An
other than
acceptable
that,
cleaning.
absolutely
Yeah.
acceptable.
It has to be really harsh and a lot of
Yeah,
hairlines
exactly.
to get a detailed
It's
filter,
one of
yeah.
those things where most people that I hand it to, they don't notice the cleaning, but
Yeah.
I've studied it.
And you and I are going to do some videos on because we all submit coins and they come in details holders from time to time.
Sure.
So we want to learn that and understand. So you and I, we're
Exactly
going to do some videos on
what
that.
the line is there.
Yeah, but this is an amazing coin. So how long do you think this coin circulated? Gold being a soft metal, it wears quickly. To be in the, like 5 years, do you think this coin circulated?
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I would say at least 5 years, if not more.
So this is kind of, they always say the 40, gold was discovered in January of 48.
Yep.
It took a year for it to kick in, and this is 1850.
Exactly.
And this was thriving. This is like, could you imagine being like this coin back in the heyday, like where this coin was? It's phenomenal
I would
history.
love to know how that coin traveled. And that's one of the things, like going into my head and seeing, one of the things that I absolutely love is looking at like old photographs and paintings and stuff like that. So you look at paintings that were done of, that time period and thinking of the miners, thinking of the panners, going out and just looking at all of the buildings that are up in California, especially, up in San Francisco, and realizing none of these were here. This was all vast, wide open land.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it wasn't discovered. To quote, discovered by white people from the East until like the 1830s.
Exactly.
You read some of the, I forgot one of the first explorers, he'd go through Yosemite Valley and it was Indian tribes, and it was like, that was just like 20 years before this was struck.
Correct.
It was crazy. You had to think about to move the equipment. The railroad guys didn't start setting up railroads till like the late 1860s.
Exactly.
This is like crazy back
Well, it's
then.
kind of like at Whittercoin University when we went to the assay office.
Yeah.
There
Which
in
this
San
was
Francisco.
struck maybe a block away.
Yeah, exactly. Being able to be at the assay office,
Right.
knowing that this coin could have been near there or in there, it's one of those experiences I'll never forget. We went down inside, and it's the old brick. It's a little bit chilly. It has kind of that old smell, and I literally stood there, got chills, and I went, "This is where it happened."
Yeah, it's like going to Mount Vernon.
It really is.
It's like you connect with George Washington. It's
that
amazing.
connection with the place because of my love of the history of the coins.
Right, and just so people know, the San Francisco Mint did not open up until 1854, and it took like a year or two to get the equipment and build it. So you had a solid 5 years of thriving gold rush history before the San Francisco Mint started making coins.
Absolutely.
So that's why these coins are so critical to the economy.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, thanks for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Is that for sale, by the way?
No, it's not.
Okay, gotcha.
Not yet.
I'm gonna keep my stack of money is gonna get bigger and bigger.
Yeah,
and bigger.
yeah,
All right,
exactly.
gotcha.
That's fine by
And
me.
I don't mean to like point out that coin over the others. I'd love to buy them all, but yeah, they're personal, so I'm not gonna.
Exactly.
I'll just have to tempt you in other ways, I guess.
Sounds good.
Yeah, a car, or something. But go ahead.
I like cars.
Yeah. Okay.
So the last coin that I'll show, I have, ever since I was a kid, I've always had an interest in patterns. I always thought that it would be cool to, put together a collection of them. I'm up to 3 currently, so it's just budding, just barely starting. But this was my very first one. This is a really, really pretty piece, proof 66 red brown. It's a Judd 935, 1870 $50 struck in copper.
Wow.
So the obverse is one that was designed by William Barber, and then it's the standard reverse for the $50 of the day.
Oh my God, that is beautiful. Look at the design.
Not a great coin.
Wow. This is like the heyday when a lot of patterns were coming out.
Yeah.
Right? They just had fun, I think.
Absolutely.
Because
there were so many different designs that were coming out.
Some were
back
ugly,
then.
but some were stunning.
Absolutely.
And what made it hard is like, okay, so they're making dozens of different patterns, and 8 of them are drop dead gorgeous. How do you pick? How do you pick which one for U.S. coinage?
Exactly.
Must have been a challenging job, but this thing is gorgeous. Oh my
Thank
God!
you.
All the violets and reds and blues, man, you got really good taste.
Yeah.
But I guess you would, right?
I've seen
you're
a few
Steve Feltner,
coins.
Yeah. Oh my God, that is gorgeous. Wow. This coin slaps Seth twice in the face. Wow. That's awesome. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Wow,
Absolutely.
That's really nice. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. So why don't you give some advice to some of the viewers who would like to assemble a box like this, which is, again, it's outside of your core collection. It's the box you're probably most emotional about. And I think it starts with, if you just started collecting coins a year ago and you still have your first silver dollar and it's a junky VF or whatever, you know what? And you may be tempted to sell it or get rid of it, upgrade it.
Hang on
Keep
to it.
it.
Hang
Keep
on
it. It's
to
the
it.
emotions. It's like, this is the
Exactly.
coin so that coin goes in the box. But if you want to add more coins, what do you think is the common denominators of what you'd suggest people to look for, coins that go outside their main collection but go in a box like that?
Things, for me, it's that stop, and I can't stop looking at it.
Yeah.
Okay? So if I'm walking past a case and I look at a coin and I zone in and I'm like, that's special. Why is that special?
Yeah.
And then I pull it out and it's like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
this is incredible for the date, incredible for the type. awesome luster, great strike, something like that. So finding things that bring you joy.
Yeah.
You know, if it's something that
The
makes
happy
you
box.
happy,
Yeah.
this is my happy box.
Yeah.
You know, these are the types of coins that no matter what type of mood I'm in, if I pull it out, I'm gonna smile.
So that's where you need to make an investment in your health, folks, because if you have a happy box of coins and you've had a bad day, we all have bad days, could be anything,
Correct.
and you come home and you look at a couple of these coins, it's going to bring your mood up.
It's
For
gonna-
sure.
Absolutely,
You know?
it's going to bring your mood up.
And it gets away from all, life's problems or whatever it is going on in your
Yeah.
life that's stressing you out. It takes you on a little mini vacation.
Correct.
That's the beauty of our hobby.
Yeah.
You know?
And one of the things that I would also suggest, in building any sort of a collection
Yeah.
or getting started, fundamentally, one of the most important things that you can do is, besides, gaining as much education as you can, reading books, checking things online, going to actual correct sources, not just,
Googling stuff.
not just Googling
Sure.
stuff,
Yeah.
but getting deep down, but also networking.
Yeah.
Find a coin dealer, find a collector, find somebody who knows more than you, and don't be afraid to ask questions.
Always ask questions,
Pick their brain. And if you think, they might be a little bit off on this,
Yeah.
ask somebody else.
Sure.
Get a second opinion.
Right.
But find people that are trustworthy, that you can go to, can give you expert advice, and help you build a collection that you're going to be proud of. That way you don't make as many mistakes. We all made mistakes, in the very beginning.
You're supposed to make mistakes.
Yeah, you have to.
That's how you learn.
There's coins that, I've bought and sold in the past, and I would never buy and sell them again because I've advanced. I now know what tooling looks like. I now know what cleaning looks like. I now know, what a C- surface looks like, and I don't buy those types of things. I want to get things that, are nice for the grade, that are solid. And so finding somebody, if you're a novice, finding somebody who can help guide you in the right direction is critical.
Right. Okay, that's great advice. So I suggest everyone follows that. Hey, Steve, I gotta tell you, this was fun. This is a lot of fun doing this, And, as I said at the beginning part of the video, I'm upset with myself that I didn't make the effort, and you should have made the effort, that we could have gotten to know each other a few years earlier, all right?
That's true, yeah, that's on both of us.
So, but I feel like I got to know you a little bit more, and I'm happy that everyone out there got to know Steve quite a bit more too. And they appreciate all the work you do at PCGS. You have the hardest, I'm being respectful to everybody at PCGS, but you have one of the hardest jobs there, okay?
It's a very enjoyable job. It's a labor of love.
Yeah.
To me, it's almost a duty.
Yeah.
Like I really enjoy what I do. I have a passion for it. So.
Yeah. Oh, it reminds me, a little footnote. So, the Meet the Expert thing?
Yeah.
That's really cool, and I couldn't believe the size of the line. It was going out the door, it felt like, and I know you got a lot of fun from that. But do you think that'll be an ongoing thing?
Absolutely.
Okay,
yeah.
good. Okay.
It's something that we've done at most of the Long Beach shows in the past.
Okay.
This is probably the fourth time that I've done it. I think either the third or the fourth time, and I absolutely love it. I mean, it's one of those things. I know that I've said it before. My two favorite things are coins and people. When there's people coming into the show, they have coins, they don't know what to do with it, they don't know who to talk to, should this be submitted, stuff like that. It's so much fun to look at it and to be able to educate and explain things to them. And I get to see a lot of cool stuff too. I nerd out.
Yeah, it's fun.
There's always something that stands out as like, that was a really cool piece that I got to see.
Got it, that's cool. So for those of you, obviously go to PCGS.com's website to see the schedule on when you could actually meet Steve in person, autographs, pictures, whatever it may be, and some advice on coins. So again, really appreciate you being on this episode of Slab Lab, and looking forward to hearing everyone's feedback. All right, thank you very much.
It was my pleasure, son.
Good, okay, that was good. See, you just don't care, dude. It's easy.